makes this 6-pound, 11-ounce, 16-inch Ruger SFAR 308 one of the gassiest little bundles of joy that I've ever held. I'll tell you, there's a lot goings on inside of here that's proprietary in this AR-15 size 308 range cannon. So much so, we're gonna spend a few minutes walking around it, swapping out a part or two, add a few pieces of flair to it, and then we're going to take all of these SFAR AR-15 compatible parts to the range, learn a thing or two about functioning and dialing in the function and performance of your Ruger SFAR. So let's talk skinny little 308 rifles. Hey guys, Randy here with AT3 Tactical, and I finally got my hands on one of these hyped up Ruger SFARs, but I don't mean that in a bad way. I'm actually very excited to get this guy on the range, see what it does, how it feels out of the box. But more importantly, I'm actually stoked to mix and match ammo and buffers and play with Ruger's 3-setting regulator gas block. And we're gonna go find out if we can squeeze a little more reliable performance, maybe reduce some of the mule kicks I expect this thing to deliver, being that it's half the size or half the weight of our last AR-10. Right back to our Ruger, here's a few things that jumped out at me when I disassembled a few parts and pieces here. Handguard is proprietary to this Ruger SFAR. You can't swap it out, but it is a standard M-lock handguard all the same, 3, 6, 9 o'clock positions. Looking at the barrel nut and the gas next, this 3-position gas regulator. It's not an adjustable gas block. My first thought when I saw built-in adjustability of the gas was, I bet it doesn't play nice across a hodgepodge of mixed 308 ammo. Then the barrel nut caught my eye, but more so the ported barrel extension or the chamber. It's starting to look like ditching gas might be the name of the game here to keep everything light and airy. Moving on to that proprietary SFAR bolt carrier. No, you cannot swap it. Yes, it is ported for off gas, way more than your traditional AR-15 or AR-10 BCG. That's all there is really about to say about that. Your SFAR charging handle is actually one of the first things that I'll swap on this giveaway SFAR because it's tiny. It doesn't have gas ports. If gas is the name of the game here, it's not ambi. So, you know, if gas is the name of the game, why not try something like a Radeon Raptor SD that is designed for this purpose. Beyond that, the safety selector will get swapped because it's a personal preference of mine and I hate these things, but now we get to the SFAR Buffer Weight. In just a minute, we're gonna head out to the range, but this, Buffer Weights, this is where a majority of our range time will be focused on today. Why is that? Because Ruger threw in a 3-ounce AR-15 carbine buffer weight, meaning you not only have half the weight or of your traditional heavy 308 AR-10 to absorb the recoil, you now also have the lightest buffer weight out there. The real question for me is then how does that change your Ruger SFAR's function cycle? Will the Armaspec stealth recoil spring work and actually reduce some recoil? Will a H3 reduce all of the recoil, or will we be able to function? Let's find out at the range next. Welcome to our newest home away from home, the MGFC little multi-caliber shooting range here. Took a little while for us to get in, but we finally got in, and you will be seeing a lot more of it going forward. All right, so we got everything for the SFAR laid out, and I mounted the AT3 Alpha red dot sight on here, along with the soon coming Delta 3X magnifier. Keep your eye open for that. I also mounted one of our cheapest, most cost-effective UTG bipods here. That's the UTG Shooter's bipod for some clean and stable shots. All right, to kick things off, we are going through 4 to 5 different 308 cartridges, a 7.62 in there as well. And we are looking for what does the stock buffer spring assembly and the 3 gas settings do for reliable functionality and function cycle of all 3 of these different. We got from 180 grain to 168, 150. Let's see what it does. What we're looking for here is the winningest combo, if there is one, for buffer weight and gas setting on the Ruger SFAR to reliably cycle through the 8 Army function cycle steps of your rifle and see how much recoil we can reduce as much as possible. So with that, let's set the gas to the middle of the 3 settings, setting number 2, and fire 3 rounds per cartridge. See what happens. So why would you want to change out a buffer is the real question. Did we find a mitigation of the felt recoil by putting in a couple extra ounces of buffer weight? And the answer is actually negligible. But if you think about it, this is the big boy rifle on a small boy frame. Are you going to notice slight changes in pounds of force into your arm? I didn't. So, but I will say that I do like the H3 buffer, specifically when I put a can on this thing, which might be the next step. Oh, before we go, a couple quick notes to get to. One, this gritty mil-spec bolt catch, if you are going to swap it out like I intend to on the SFAR, get an AR-10 sized, AR-10, slightly longer. Also swapping out the mil-specy safety selector, we're gonna put in the Timber Creek 90 and 45 ambi safety, grand total at around 40 to 45 bucks. Number 2, and this one is very important, to not do what we did and forget the spacers for your Armaspec stealth recoil spring. It will not work properly without it. Why? Because much like the DPMS G2 from back in the day, the lower is longer towards the rear due to the larger magwell on an AR-15 sized frame. So grips, triggers, safeties, they all had to shift. 3, this giveaway SFAR might wind up outfitted with a LPVO, which definitely feels like the right optic for this little guy. So at the end of the day, what did we learn here about buffer weights and gas for your Ruger SFAR? Is it going to fail on every single ammo cartridge that you put through it? In our experience, 5 out of 6, those are pretty good odds. If you want to know one of the 4 jobs, though, that this SFAR falls into, we talk about it in a 5-part ultimate AR-10 builder's guide. It's right over here, full of all kinds of tips and tricks, how to build your rifle, and pick one of the 4 jobs for your next range toy.